Number 7, Twin Peaks Season 2. Yeah, I know this is a tough one to go through because, look, Season 2 has a great start. And then when, spoiler alert, I already said it, when it turns out Ray Wise is killed Laura. And then after that, everything really does kind of fall downhill for a bit. And then I think it picks up with the last, I think when David Lynch character, who is established early on in the show, when he comes back, and also Heather Graham comes on the show, I think it picks up again. So it's really just that middle that drags a bit. But even if the middle drags, I still love this season because I love these characters. That's why I love it still. These characters are still great, and I like most of the stuff that, most of the subplots in this. I really do like the cute love triangle between, Lucy, Andy, and then the character of Dick. I still love watching, Cooper and Harry just work together, and the chemistry between the two is so great to watch. And as I said before, this is where David Lynch comes on as his famous character of Gordon Cole. He's very fun to just watch.
Cooper, you remind me today of a small Mexican chihuahua. Massive quantities and a glass of water, sweetheart. My socks are on fire.
The few episodes that he's in, it's very fun. I liked, Heather Graham's character coming on, Peggy Lipton's daughter, Peggy Lipton's sister. I love watching her and her romance that she has with Coop. Billy Zane also comes on, and those scenes are kind of fun. I like the subplot of Shelley and I forgot his. Oh yeah, Shelley and Leo are Leo, kind of being I guess catatonic a bit. Then I like when Leo ends up with Wyndham Earl. That was kind of fun. I'm kind of I might be forgetting some stuff that happens in the season, but it is still it has its entertaining moments. And even when you get off that first season of Twin Peaks, definitely try to you gotta bite your tongue with this one, because the stuff that comes after is a little bit better. You just gotta know that going into it. All right, number 6, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me. The film that was a prequel, a week before the events of the show start, and mainly a character study on the character of Laura Palmer before she died, because David Lynch clearly fell in love with the character and wanted the audience to go back and know why was she so important to the show, and bringing everyone together, what was so significant about it all. And it's amazing to watch those scenes. Cheryl Lee and Ray Wise give great performances that deserved an Oscar. The moments that kind of go more, feel like sequels to season 2's finale, is also kind of like a fun, neat addition that is basically saying you should not have watched this movie if you haven't watched the series at all, because you really shouldn't go into this movie without seeing the 2 seasons, because it's a prequel. Do not do that, please. I do like the scenes, that take place a year earlier with, you see Dale Cooper and, Miguel Ferrer, or, Albert and Gordon Cole. Those scenes are fun, and, and then, David Bowie just shows up as Philip Jeffries.
Philip, is that you? Philip? Cooper, meet the long-lost Philip Jeffries. You may have heard of him from the Academy.
Well, now, I'm not going to talk about Judy. In fact, we're not going to talk about Judy at all. We're going to keep her out of it.
Gordon? I know, Coop!
And, David Bowie had said that he really wanted to work with Lynch. And this was the only time he worked with Lynch. And the scene that he has is kind of fun. I am forgetting, though, how... the first half hour of this movie, though, is with, like, Chris Isaac and Kiefer Sutherland as these, like, FBI agents that investigate, like, another murder. I want to say it's in Washington. But the whole point is that they go to a town that is meant to be the opposite of Twin Peaks, and it's evil and all that. Which has, like, it's part of the whole theme of the movie is, like, how David Lynch... There's always something like evil going on in suburbia, but Laura Palmer is meant to be this character that's trying to like not have it break out into Twin Peaks, and that's part of why like what he wanted to show from this character of Laura Palmer. And once again, Sheryl Lee is just great in her role. And it's fun to see the characters that from Twin Peaks that made it in. They had to get like the ones that were most like significant to like her story. So of course both Bobby and James had to be in there. Donna's in there, but not played by Laura Flynn Boyle, which kind of affected my experience a little bit because like it's she's such a very like important character, and the actress Moira Kelly doesn't really come across as Donna to me, so I wasn't big on that part. And I still kind of wish like we saw more characters. Like I wish we saw Big Ed and Nadine. Well, Peggy Lipton's character Norma is in the movie, but just in like one shot that's like wide and you don't get any proper close up on her. So yeah, I wish like we saw more characters. Like we see none of the police the police department characters. We don't see Lucy, we don't see Hawk, we don't see Andy, we don't see Harry. None of those guys made it into the film. It's all on The Missing Pieces, which to be honest, I didn't really watch because it's just too much of a clip show to me personally. So I just didn't really feel like I didn't feel like sitting through it because I should note I did buy the whole big Blu-ray pack that has basically everything. So I did I bought this, but I didn't feel like watching the whole like. I think like hour and 40 minutes of the Missing Pieces. Like to be honest, I wish Lynch made just a giant extended cut of everything. But I kind of get the whole point. It doesn't really go with the whole story that it's meant to be about, Laura Palmer and like, what she meant. And all of that's fine. I think it's a good enough movie. There's a lot of great stuff in it. And I like that it doesn't feel like the big epic finale to Twin Peaks, or it doesn't feel like an episode of the show. It really does feel like a piece of lore and just this like simple character study, and I think it works fair enough. Coming in number 5, his Palme d'Or winning film Wild at Heart, starring Nicolas Cage, and a Nicolas Cage and David Lynch team up is as crazy as you think. I really enjoyed this movie, and it sucks that this movie is not available on any streaming service to watch at all. Is disgraceful, because I really do think people can get into this movie. If you like road trip crime films, you're going to love this movie. It has a lot of great performances by Laura Dern. Her mother Diane Ladd is in it. Harry Dean Stanton is in it. He's fun. They got few actors from Twin Peaks to be in it. Sheryl Lee and Sherilyn Fenn. And then lastly, you have Willem Dafoe. Comes in at the very, very end, but the scenes are very like intense to watch. And I can't believe like Dafoe like is another actor like Brad Dourif that he hasn't like worked with a lot since. The closest thing that him and Lynch did after this was a film called My Son, What Have Ye Done? Which is directed by Werner Herzog. That's right, Lynch and Herzog also worked on a movie together, because Lynch was executive producer. I haven't seen it. I would love to watch it, because that's a pairing that I would have just loved to watch, just make a movie, or just sit down around a table and talk together, because I cannot find footage at all of Herzog and Lynch just talking. Like, I think was it like Variety or something? Isn't there's like some like Hollywood? There's that like magazine, like journal thing that does like those like actors on actors things, where actors just talk to each other. I would just love to see a video of just David Lynch and Werner Herzog talking. But anyway, Wild at Heart, insane movie, love it. Opens with Nick Cage, just destroying this guy's head. Very gruesome. It's very fun, and I think anyone can really enjoy this just wild movie that has a lot of connections to Wizard of Oz, surprisingly. So number 4 is The Straight Story. I know it's very obvious that someone who isn't big onto some of his films would want to put this one higher. But I really do love this movie, and I think it has a lot of great stuff in it. First off, Richard Farnsworth as Alvin Straight. This was a guy who starred in a lot of big movies, in the golden age of Hollywood. He starred in Gone with the Wind, The Ten Commandments, and Spartacus, and he was mainly like, playing like minor extra roles. He was also a stunt guy, and this would be his like last movie, because he died shortly after this movie, like a year. And what's interesting is that he was the same age as the guy that this movie is based on, but that guy died earlier than him. So this movie was not written by Lynch at all, and I know I said Elephant Man is his most normal film. I still think a lot of Lynch speaks in this movie, because there are moments that are just very Lynchian in a good way. It's like the Lynch stuff that I like. It's his takes on suburban life in America, and I do enjoy those moments, and they never come off as pretentious. They do come off very insightful to me. Because this is a good story just about life and what was the meaning of it all. And, this whole thing about like family and friendship, all of that stuff is like very just interesting to watch. And it just has some of the most like just gorgeous cinematography of just like, the Midwest, America, the shots of like cornfields. They're the same shots over and over again, but they're so engaging to watch. And the music by his usual composer, Angelo Badalamenti, has his best score in this. It's such a beautiful score. It's such a beautiful movie to watch. It has a really it has a good feel, but at the same time it does have a very sad feel. It's just a good mix of both, and I highly recommend you watch this movie. It might come off boring, but I think it is very insightful. And my top 3 favorite like David Lynch like films. I think people can really love them. Coming in number 3, his final magnum opus, Twin Peaks: The Return. This really was like an amazing 18 episode. Well, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not big on the 8th episode. And if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about.
This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full, and descend.
The horses look wider behind.
the dark within.
Look, it just got a little too weird. But for the most part, I just loved the show and the experience of going through it all with every episode. It's very different, though, from Twin Peaks itself, those first 2 seasons. Because, number one, while Kyle MacLachlan is in it in every single episode, well, to the point where, like, there's one episode of the show where he's only in, like, one frame, I want to just say, like, one shot, and that's it. I could be wrong. But he's not really Agent Dale Cooper, and it's not until, like, like episode 16 he becomes, like, his actual soul comes back. And he's mostly Dougie Jones with the evil Coop from, like, the end of season 2 that comes in and out of the show. And I know it's, like, a little disappointing to some, and yeah, to me, I kind of wish, but what Lynch does, like, what we have, like, as the replacement for Twin Peaks, I think is really good for the most part. But, you have Kyle MacLachlan going all crazy as Dougie Jones. It is a little disappointing, though, that Michael Onskeen did not come back as Harry Truman and was replaced with Robert Forster as his, like, brother character, Frank. And I really do like, Robert Forster. He was good in this, but, seeing him interact with, like, the other rest of the police force isn't, like, the same. And I would do, like, what I like about Twin Peaks is that relationship between, Dale and Harry. And, to not have that in this is kind of sad. But the big replacement for, like, the investigating, like, part from the FBI is the, whole thing with Gordon Cole and Albert. I love that subplot. It's very fun, and I like that David Lynch decided to give more Gordon Cole because he's just funny to watch as Gordon Cole, and to have Miguel Ferrer on the side it was a good, like, team up. That was kind of, like, I guess, the substitute for the whole thing. And there's just other great, like, fun little, like, characters, and, that are in it, like, that are new. You have, like, Amanda Seyfried comes in as Shelley's daughter, and, like, she's actually really great in it. Amanda Seyfried, even though she's, like, not in it that much, it didn't really need to be her. It's still really fun to watch. I like what the show does great is really, like, it made me like actors that I didn't care about before. Like, Naomi Watts and Jim Belushi, I didn't care for these actors at all. But they give amazing performances in this, and now, like, my respect for them has gone up as actors. And I also really love Jennifer Jason Leigh and Tim Roth as this, like, bounty hunting couple. They're great to watch, and I wish we had more of them. There's so much, like, there's a lot of, like, actors that they got in this that that was not in the original show, that are, like, great additions, to the series. But it's still great to see, like, other, the older characters. Besides Harry not being there, it's still great to see the other members of the police force there, Hawk, Lucy, and Andy. I liked seeing Big Ed and Norma for the few scenes, though, that Big Ed was in, because Everett McGill, kind of came out of retirement for this, so he didn't really do a lot. But those scenes are great. It was great to see him again. I liked what they did with Bobby, making him a cop. And then I kind of liked James's part in all of it. That was kind of fun with his, like, new friend from Britain. It was overall, it's a very, like, intense show that season of television that is just David Lynch going all insane and just getting the best performances out of, like, all of these actors. Like, I also forgot Tom Sizemore is in this, and I like Tom Sizemore, but this is probably my favorite performance from him. So I highly recommend you guys check out Twin Peaks: The Return. It's an amazing revival season for just any show, and I wish like more shows would take note for this. Like, I don't know, like the new Buffy revival. Just make something that like respects the fans, but it's true to the the creator of the show or the filmmaker, the people that are working on that season, and just go like all out on it. Really go all out. All right, so coming in number 2 is Twin Peaks season 1. This really was like an amazing first start to this like TV show. The characters are set up great. The story and events that take place are just very intriguing as it deals with the death of this homecoming queen that everyone loved and admired, and how it affects them all. And just it's all great to see, just like being in the world of Twin Peaks. And I love just everything that David Lynch and Mark Frost set up in this season. And to be honest, like I guess like that's how it is sometimes. Like TV shows on networks, they'll start off short, but then like as they go on, they'll get longer. But I think this showed that Twin Peaks, I think, like, and even most shows sometimes, like, sometimes shows are just better off to be shortened and condensed. So the writing, I feel like, can just stand out more, and the storytelling can just stand out more with just, like, a more shorter amount of episodes. Because I just love, like, how it sets up the world, and I love the characters. I think they all shine the most, and the whole point is just to figure out who killed Laura Palmer, which, all changed. But I just don't think... I think Twin Peaks really was strong when it's just them trying to figure out who killed Laura Palmer. And I love the relationship between, Dale and Harry. And just how, like, Dale, like, interacts with everyone in the community. It's all great, and I love just, like, watching him work with the police force. And also, again, like, Ray Wise gives a great performance in the movie, also gives a great performance in this. Everyone just gave a great performance in this show, and I think the first season of Twin Peaks really just started out on a great high note that I think overall it was just hard to recapture. Coming in at number 1, the movie I think is David Lynch's best, and that is Blue Velvet. It's just a great mystery thriller that is this dissection of the traditional American suburbia and how deep down there is just something grimy going on. And it's just a very intense, thrilling movie with the best performance for any antagonist ever, with Dennis Hopper as Frank Booth, who was not nominated at all for this movie at the Oscars. And yet Dennis Hopper was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Hoosiers. I haven't seen Hoosiers. I know. That's a movie that people really love and talk about a lot. I haven't seen that one, and I don't know how he is in that movie. But he really should have gotten nominated for this movie, because he's fucking excellent in it.
Where's the glasses? That beer's gonna get warm. One thing I can't fucking stand is warm beer. It makes me fucking puke.
All right, darling, where's the glasses? Here, Frank, here come the glasses. See, here are the glasses.
Raymond, where's the fucking beer, man?
It's right here, Frank. You want me to pour it?
No, I want you to fuck it. Shit, yes, pour the fucking beer.
That's all I can really say, though, about this movie, is that how great he is. He just steals the whole show. But I do like the other stuff. I do love David Lynch's directing. It takes a lot of, like, his Eraserhead static shots, static pans and all that, which I like. I do like, Isabella Rossellini is, like, the second best actor in the movie under Dennis Hopper. It's just a very good movie. This is just where I think everything that David Lynch does all just comes together perfectly in this movie. So yeah, there you go. again, you're probably not gonna agree with this for, David Lynch fans, but look, I wasn't really like I get before, I had only seen Dune and then Mulholland Drive. And the other stuff I liked about David Lynch was just like him personally. I just loved watching like videos of just David Lynch out of context and all that. Like as a person, he looks like a really funny guy to just be around. And I loved his whole like, his cameo at the end of The Fabelmans. He really was the best part of that movie, and I'm kind of like convinced that I think he really directed that scene and not Spielberg at all. That was just a great scene, and yeah. It's sad that David Lynch has passed away. Knowing that he was gonna go back and make like another TV show for Netflix, I think. But all I can say to end the video is just rest in peace, David Lynch. You really were, one of the best filmmakers in the industry that stood out to people. And people knew who you were. So, rest in peace.